Hi, freaky friends. This is Colleen.
And this is Margaret. And we're the Cousins Weird.
It sounded like it went through perfectly, but you know that never works when we're virtual. So I hope it sounded as good in the playback as it did just now.
I was thinking, God, you're quiet, but it's because I had the volume not up all the way on my headset.
I am not known to be quiet, so that couldn't have been me.
It was different than normal, so I know.
Yeah.
Anything new in the land of the butlers this week?
No. Just, working.
Super Bowl this Sunday?
No, it's in the 12th, Sunday the 12th of February.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting a t-shirt that says, I just hope both teams lose. I am purchasing that shirt for myself to wear. It'll make me feel good. So
it's the Chiefs and the 49ers.
Do that. Yeah. Did you know, weird fact, in the year 2020, the worst year, it was the Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the 49ers, and Biden and Trump were running against each other. And we have that again. Just when you thought nightmares.
Did Nikki Haley get booted? I haven't been paying attention. Whoever was running against him. Trump.
Oh, the one that said we had to work till we're 70?
Yeah, the chick.
I don't know. It's just it's a little close to 2020.
Kind of know that he's gonna win the nomination. The only thing we can hope for is that he gets in jail before the election.
Yeah, that's the only hope we have.
Yeah, I don't know. Rich people like him don't normally go to jail, which is unfortunate, but
you just have to pay him a lot of money.
He just wants to be president so he can badmouth that woman he sexually assaulted some more and not have to pay restitution.
Exactly.
I think in his brain, because he's really stupid, I think that when he thinks once he's president, he can make it so he doesn't have to pay that.
Oh, I'm sure. He'll pardon himself. Can he pardon himself?
He's going to try because he's that much of a dick.
He'll try.
But he can only pardon himself if it's federal. And I don't know if that was federal. Maybe it was. I don't know. I
have no clue. I probably not.
Is this like is this like hell has come back?
I know.
That asshole is gonna run for presidency until he dies. So if he doesn't win this time, in 4 years,
do it again.
If he's still alive, he's gonna run again. Just because
he's so preserved in some kind of weird orange stuff that he probably will never die.
His hairspray.
The hairspray is...
It's hairspray.
Spray tan and hairspray.
Yes, it's preserved his ugliness.
Which is not what I want.
No.
Goodness gracious sake.
Well, I was late getting on today because I was late with dinner. But, it was one of those nights where I'm thinking of things I want to make, but I need to get groceries, so I'm missing parts of everything. You know what I mean? I'm what am I going to make? I don't want to, I don't have any potatoes. I don't have any broccoli. I don't have any cauliflower. And those are, staple ingredients at my house. If I have cauliflower, there's 100 million things I can make with cauliflower. I mean, I'm out of onions, Colleen. You can't make anything.
Queen.
You can't make anything without onions.
I made soup tonight.
I made red beans and rice because I had all the stuff, and the kids were like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing I ever ate." I will admit, it turned out pretty damn good for just
I made
whipping something up.
Cheesy smoked sausage soup.
Nice.
And it was good. It was tasty. But
this was smoky. A little liquid smoke in there.
Nothing better than a little liquid smoke.
I mean, I looked in the cupboard. I'm got a can of crushed tomatoes. I got a couple cans of red beans. I've got tons of dried spices. And I have a whole cupboard full of spices. So there's minced dried onion in there, and there's minced garlic in there, and there's all kinds of seasonings and Cajun seasonings and Chipotle chili powder. And, I just threw it all in the thing. And I even used instant rice because I didn't want to have to cook rice. Oh,
yeah. It's too much.
It was all
Sometimes
in one pan,
too much.
And it literally took 15 minutes.
Perfect.
It was amazing.
That's kind of dinner right there.
But then I had to eat it, and it was delicious, and the kids ate it. It was good times.
Good. You want to get in it?
I do. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. So this evening, we're going to be talking about the story behind the fingers in the jar in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Oh.
The fingers in a jar. Yes, you heard that right. Bowling Green, Ohio has a jar with some fingers in it that people want to come see.
Horrifying.
Yeah. Now, this is a dark backstory. This is awful, really. This is terrible. But the fact that this was a kind of cheesy roadside America attraction that people would stop from all over just to see these fingers makes this extra worse, I guess, because of the story behind it. Like, you could, like, go online and, like, Google things to do in Ohio, and one of the first things you'll see is human fingers in a jar. Like, it's crazy stuff.
Like, how many fingers are in the jar?
Huh?
How many fingers are in the jar?
3.
Oh.
3 fingers.
That's yucky.
Why stop in Bowling Green? Why to see the fingers of Mary Bach, of course. Roadside America says it's their prize display. 3 human fingers in a jar. The fingers belong to Mary Bach, who was murdered. The knife used to sever her fingers, the noose used to hang the man who severed them, are proudly presented alongside a popular tater-tot-like appendages. Those fingers built this museum, the curator boasts. It's a novelty, a dark attraction that people from all around the world stop to see.
That's macabre.
Yeah. I don't know why I just turned Swedish.
Yeah.
So this story takes place in Wood County, Ohio, and it's about the gruesome murder, really, of Mary Bach. Now, we don't normally do a true crime, but this one's the reason why I stumbled upon it is weird, so I had to tell the story behind it. Like, the whole fingers in the jar thing. Like, that's bizarre that was an attraction. So, Wood County has a lot of high-profile crimes associated with it, like criminals. Actually, Pretty Boy Floyd.
He's a gangster.
Had something to do, yeah. And also, there was a shootout involving Billy the Babyface Kid. Some of the crimes, though, have, like, got less attention than, obviously, those big name ones. But they had a really lasting impact on the community, a.k.a. Mary Bach's murder. It actually was a drawing point for tourism since her death, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Mary Bach was born in Germany in 1840. Sometime in the 1840s, they don't have an exact date. Her family immigrated to the United States when she was a child, and there wasn't a lot of information about her before, like in her youth. She did get married, her first husband, and he actually ended up vanishing during the Civil War, so they believe he died. And shortly after that, a woman in her time, like that time, couldn't stay single. Yeah, she had to be married. Like, there's no
right.
So she met another German immigrant named
because women
Charles.
Couldn't make decisions. You know, they needed a man to do that.
No. His name was Charles or Carl Bach. And they got married, they moved to Wood County, Ohio, and had 3 children, Carl Jr., Marie, and Catherine. Carl and Mary's marriage had some financial hardships. He was a farmer, and they kind of read that their marriage was kind of a convenience to him because Mary did have some money. So she helped him purchase a farm, so he liked that. There was some domestic issues. There was Panic of 1873 added more, which I didn't even look up what the Panic of 1873 was. I probably should do that, huh? What is the Panic of 1873? I meant to look this up and I forgot. The Panic of 1873 was a financial crisis that triggered an economic depression in Europe and North America that lasted from 1873 to either 1877 or 1879.
Like kind of like another.
It started a stagnation known as the Long Depression. It was a type of depression. So the panic triggered more here too. It started over in Europe, but it moved here. So anyway, that panic caused him to panic, Carl. And he thought the best thing to do was, let's sell this farm and move. However, because Mary helped him secure the farm, like he used her money, he could not legally sell the property without her consent, which bizarre that even was allowed because they were married, that she even had a say. And she didn't want to leave. She didn't want to sell it and move away. Her family lived in the same area. She didn't want to leave them. So in response, he got pissed and started beating her up because that's what you do.
That's what asshole men did back then.
Mm-hmm. He wanted to intimidate her to cooperate.
I'm sorry, but if you're going to beat the shit out of me, I'm not moving anywhere with you. You can go. I'm staying. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
In 1881, all this time, so from 1873, he's been, treating her terrible. He's been beating her up. Why am I keep going blurry? See that?
It's almost like there's somebody rubbing Vaseline on your
I know.
camera.
Weird. So in 1881, Mary got sick of being beat up, and she got beat up often, bad. And surprisingly, she was able to get him arrested and put in jail for beating her, which is a shock. I think Mary kind of grew a backbone and was like, no, I'm not taking this anymore. Well, she kind of had one when she told him she wouldn't move to begin with.
Right.
So Mary has him arrested, and he was held in jail for 18 days. But when he got out, she was trying to get a divorce from him. She didn't want anything to do with him. So she told him that he couldn't sleep in the house. She locked all the doors, and he had to sleep in the barn. And this is in October, and nights are starting to get cold, and Carl doesn't want to be sleeping in a barn. So he wanted to move back into the home, and Mary is like, hell no, you're not moving back in this house. You have been horrible to me, and I don't want you around me and our kids. So she refused to let him in, and obviously that makes things more tense. Neighbors reported that Carl had said that he wanted to kill her. He complained about sleeping in the barn, and that Mary would not cook for him. God forbid.
Yeah.
He said his wife was lazy and awful. And at this point in their marriage, she was actually 7 months pregnant with her fourth child. So I think when she got pregnant and she had him arrested right away, and now she's 7 months pregnant. And the neighbors all reported that she was a really nice lady. No one had any issues with her. She was nice. He was the asshole. So one night, Carl just was like, nah, I'm going to get in this house. And he sneaks into the house where he committed the most brutal, gruesome act. The newspaper headline was, Farmer chopped his wife into pieces in the most brutal manner using a common corn cutter for his fiendish purpose. That was the title of the article. So yeah. Mary was asleep in the house, but
she was pregnant.
She was pregnant.
What an asshole!
She fought back against him. Blood marks on the cabin window and fingerless handprint on the nearby shelf tell that her desperate struggle to get out. During Carl's brutal attack of Mary, he severed 3 of her fingers, probably while she raised her hand to defend herself. So 3 fingers, chopped them off. He split open her elbow and left the bedroom in a grotesque disarray with fragments of her skull strewn about the room.
Oh, awful.
He used a corn knife to slice her up. The coroner's report counted 41 gashes across Mary's body.
Yuck.
Now, the Bowling Green Wood County Centennial reported, in the middle of the room, in a pool of blood, lay the body of a woman. The floor, walls, ceilings were smeared and bespattered with blood. Giblets of flesh, tufts of hair, brains, and fingers were scattered over the floor. The back part of the woman's head was all hacked to jelly.
Oh,
the left
God.
shoulder The left shoulder had been nearly severed by one terrific blow. The side of the head was cut open nearly to the mouth back. An arm was nearly cut off, and several fingers were severed on one of the hands. She was doubtless dead before the infuriated murderer ceased hacking her body.
Oh, my God.
Now, mind you, her 3 children are in the house. And she was pregnant. And this man was supposed to be her husband.
And the father of her children.
Husband, and the father of her children. So, after he kills his wife, he stays the night in the house. Doesn't leave. 5 a.m., he walks the children to the neighbors. At least he had the foresight to think that do that. And then turns himself into the police. When they went to the house, they found Mary's dismembered body.
And probably puked everywhere, because I would.
I know.
Disgusting.
The sheriff is the one that found her fingers on the floor, and he scooped them up and dropped them into a jar of whiskey. 1800s.
Yeah.
Thinking that they may be used as evidence later, which was kind of a good thing that he preserved them in a way, because Carl wasn't convicted until 2 years later. Even though he turned himself in. He confessed the murder the very next morning.
Hopefully he was in jail the whole time.
Yes, he was.
Good.
After he confessed, he faced a trial for murder. According to the transcripts from the trial, Carl stated that he only intended to wound Mary, not kill her. God. And he was forced to behave this way because she failed to perform her wifely duties, and she wouldn't let him sleep in the house.
Because he beat the shit out of her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let him out either.
The man was in jail for beating her up. Carl Jr., his son, testified, he was 13, testified confirming he witnessed his father murder his mother. There was some speculation that maybe Carl Jr. was actually the one that murdered the mom, because they found both their clothes with blood on them. But if he saw her, if the way it was, and he was there, he was going to get blood on him. Right. You know what I mean? I mean, there was speculation because they found both their clothes in the barn, and they both had blood on the clothes. Carl was found guilty in the trial, but issues with improper jury selection prompted a retrial. So it had to start over again. Throughout both trials, the defense emphasized that Carl believed he was justified in his treatment of Mary, given the non-subservient nature of her actions.
Oh my God. I hate this guy.
I know.
I hate him.
In his testimony, Carl referred to his wife as a lazy animal with a loose mouth. I hope someone describes me as a lazy animal with a loose mouth.
Me too. My mouth's real loose, let me tell you.
Thankfully, in the second trial, he was convicted, sentenced to death by hanging. Media coverage shifted much the blame onto Mary, pointing to her refusal to fulfill her wifely duties as justification for her murder. So,
yeah,
media is basically a lesson learned.
Totally needs to die. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so if she refused to make him dinner, and he brought her to court, he would do nothing. They wouldn't sentence her to hang, because she didn't make him dinner.
But you can murder, not just kill her, brutally beat her and
chop her up
into bits and bash her head in the worst imaginable ways, and that's okay.
I don't think that hanging was appropriate. Maybe
he should have cut his dingling off.
They should have dug a big hole in the ground and dropped him down there. And once a day, dropped down some stale bread so he could eat that out of the dirt. And
cover his head with honey and let the ants get him.
Yes. Cover him with honey. Lay him down on the ground in the beating hot sun.
Now, Carl was pretty surprised to get the death penalty because the people were kind of felt bad for him because, his wife was so terrible.
His wife doesn't make him dinner and locked him out of the house. Oh, poor man.
And they were like, my goodness, these poor children already lost their mother. Now their father's going to die?
Yeah.
What?
He didn't care about his children when he hacked their mother to bits.
No kidding. So he was really surprised about that. And he would be the first and the last person to receive the death penalty in that Wood County. An interview with Carl shortly before he was executed, he described Mary as dirty and slothful. So, had to kill her. The gallows were specifically made for his execution and were built behind the old Wood County jail. the town officials, these people are wonderful. The town official decided, let's do the execution because, this was a big news. The media, everyone knew about this. Like, it's a big deal. So the town officials decided, people really like this. This has caught everybody's attention, this trial, this murder. Let's have the execution happen at the last day of the county fair. And we'll just sell tickets. And it'll end it with a bang or a hang.
When I think of the county fair, I totally think of a public execution.
I know.
You need a good hanging. It's not the county fair without a good hanging.
No. The National Guard had to be called in to control the large crowd, which estimated to be 10,000 people. 10,000 people. They handed out postcards with pictures of the box on it and their home to the people that came and bought tickets. Sick. Margaret is sick.
This sick.
So he dies. He gets hung. Seeing the sensation that this murder caused and the execution had, these same officials decided, let's capitalize on this whole thing. We're really making money with this. Let's display the evidence of Mary's 3 fingers in that jar, the knife used to the murder, the noose, the executioner's hood, in our new courthouse. Put it on display. People are still, they'll keep coming to see it.
God.
And that's where it stayed for people to come and look at until 1979.
Oh my God.
When they decided that it was unseemly to keep it on display in the court. So they moved the artifacts. They didn't put them away in a safe place. No, they sent them to the museum.
Yeah. I hope Mary haunted them in a not nice way. I really do.
The museum have had the items on display, and they became a dark roadside attraction, people stopping to see the fingers in a jar. So when you Google it, it's like on Roadside America and everything. In recent years, this is the 2000 teens, the gruesome display has become a source of ethical debate. Just recently, Margaret, they're just recently thinking, maybe this isn't a good idea to have people's parts that got brutally murdered. In the United States, legal frameworks like the Native American Graves Protection and Reparation Act impose restrictions on the display of indigenous remains and associated with funerary items. However, because Mary Bach, being a German immigrant without tribal affiliation, falls outside the protective scope of existing legislation. So there was nothing the law could do for doing it. Now, ethically, probably not the coolest thing, especially when the one curator of the museum was like, it's our prized possession. It's built our museum. We get all our money from it. However, in 2015, the museum did a renovation, including installing an elevator. That meant the finger exhibit had to be moved. The fingers have been kept in the same jar since 1881.
Wow.
Now, there's a new curator, and they reached out because they were like, they were all dehydrated at this point. And they were like, we got to do something about these. These are someone's remains. We can't just stuff these in a closet. We have to do something respectful with these. So they ended up contacting a conservator. I think it was the University of Ohio. And they were able to rehydrate the fingers in a saline solution and preserve them to look like fingers. Now they're not dehydrated tater tot, as they called them in the beginning of this.
So disrespectful.
I know.
So gross.
Now they
I don't think I'll ever be able to eat a tater tot again.
Especially when you see the dehydrated look of those before they rehydrated. They wanted to keep the fingers part of the museum, but they wanted to have them truly tell the story. The murder was a case of domestic violence and femicide and should have been given respect over the years, and it had not. Now, another thing about the museum is when it first was built and opened, it was a woman's shelter. So it's kind of fitting that Mary's remains stay there, because she was a victim of domestic violence. In 2020, now they removed the fingers and they knew they weren't going to put them on display again because they could really do something respectful. So in 2020, the Bach murder exhibition underwent a redesign, and they collaborated. The museum collaborated with the domestic violence advocacy group, The Cocoon. I'm going to read from the Cocoon website, this agency. They're Wood County's comprehensive domestic and sexual violence agency, providing shelter and advocacy services to survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, sexual harassment, sex trafficking, stalking, and adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse. So this is a wonderful agency that does a lot of good.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, the goal of the new exhibit was to humanize Mary Bach. She's more than she's a person, and bringing attention to the issue of domestic violence and how women didn't have a voice then at all. Even though he got in trouble and even though he murdered her, they still were sympathizing with the fact that she kind of deserved it. I mean, he can't live because he did it, but she kind of deserved it. The exhibit is now a permanent display, and the jar is located under a labeled box, which can be lifted at a visitor's discretion to view the fingers. The curator now, her name is Holly Kirkendall, and she's quoted as saying, "I want people to humanize Mary. She's not just human remains. She was a mother. She was a sister. She was a daughter. She had a relationship with her husband, much like people face today. Mary was alive in a time when blame was put on the victim and women didn't have many options. In addition to the fingers, there are panels of information and video about the family and the crime. Other items on display include straps used to tie Carl's feet and head covering during the hanging, the corn knife used to kill his wife, her German Bible, and a tin cup he used in jail." During the official ribbon cutting, Bethany S. Jetter of the Bowling County Chamber of Commerce said, "In Mary Bach's time, nobody talked about this kind of stuff. Countless museum visitors viewed her fingers over the years, but it's just so much more than that. For so long she was silent, but now she has a voice." And it made me kind of teary because she was just a novelty. Her remains were like a roadside attraction, and now they gave it a purpose to tell a story and to bring awareness to domestic violence and what it can do. People die, and murdered, and it's still happening. It's not like it was a problem from the 1800s. It happens to this day, and the fact that she can bring awareness and to see what can stem from it. Something horrible, but at least it's showing people the shock of it shocks people into saying, maybe it'll help some woman someday to realize that could be her, that if she doesn't get out of the relationship she's in. So, and when they opened up when they did the ribbon cutting for the new exhibit, which is the permanent thing there, they made sure it was open during Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So they tied it all in together, and she was honored during that time.
Oh, that's good.
That was the tale of the fingers in the jar. And I was like, what's that? And I started deep diving, and I was like, I need to tell this story because it's heartbreaking, but also I love where it ended up when it came to what they changed this from a disrespectful novelty, money making the town, grossness, to something that honored her and brought awareness to a terrible thing. So that's the story of.
Yeah, I had never heard of it before, so.
Me either. I was putting, I don't know what I was Googling. You know how we don't want people to look at our Google searches to think we're weirdos?
Right.
I was Googled something weird, and I don't even remember what it was, and that was one of the things that came up. And it didn't come up in a very respectful way. That's why I was like, what's this? And then the more I read, the more I deep dived into it, the more I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. So.
It's the molasses last week. I'm like, molasses flood. Oh my God. And then I read, this is awful. People died.
Awful. People died. But you can go onto the Cocoon's website. Just Google the Cocoon and read more about their projects and the things they do to help people if you want to.
That's great.
And I don't want to sound like an after school special, but if you're listening to this and you are in a situation that you are not safe, reach out to somebody. You can reach out to us, and we will help you find someone that can help you wherever you are.
Exactly.
If you would like to see pictures, I don't know how to say this without it sounding bad, but the new exhibit in the museum and pictures from the museum and pictures of Mary when she was alive, I will put them on our Facebook and Instagram. And you should follow us on there because our episodes are always posted there, and you should share episodes from there with your friends.
And if you'd like to reach out to us, you can send us a direct message through Facebook or Instagram, or you could send us an email at thecousinsweird@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you if you have any requests for an episode to cover, or if you just want to reach out with a weird story that you have from yourself, then please do. We want to hear from you.
Let us know. If you want to support our podcast, the best way to do it is always word of mouth. Tell your friends about us, share our episodes. You can rate us and leave reviews on your platform that you listen to us on, and also on Facebook. That pushes us out there into the universe so more people get to see us. And you can also support us to get new microphones at patreon.com/thecousinsweird. For $1 a month, become a freaky friend. You get a free sticker and bonus content. And for $5 a month, you become a terrible trender. You get free sticker, bonus content, ad-free episodes, a yearly gift, and a quarterly FaceTimed video thing with us.
Yes. Alrighty. I think that's a wrap. Yeah. Stay freaky.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.